Hello guys and welcome back to the CryEngine free SDK tutorial series, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the two different methods that there are for creating rivers in CryEngine. The reason for me cruising around in my speedboat at the moment is simply to show you one of the two methods there are of creating rivers. I'm not going to show you the second one just yet. I'm going to show you that in the later video, and I'll just pretty much do that rather than just showing you a pre-built one that I've done already. Okay, so anyway, enough of talk about that in the introduction. You can see that I am just going around a river at the moment which leads into the sea. The river itself is actually the sea. I've just basically lowered the terrain where the sea is. So I'm just going to quickly demonstrate how to do this quickly. If I zoom out here, you can see I've got my little weird river of weirdness. If I go over to my terrain tab, and then go modify, rise lower, I can just lower this terrain quickly and pretty much make a river like I'm doing so at the moment. The reason for it not working so much is simply because I didn't have my hardness turned up. However, now it should be all good, and you can begin to see my river forming. And yes, you can go around on a speedboat of awesomeness on this, so you shouldn't have any issues as long as it is high enough. And it looks pretty high. Okay, anyway, back to the second method. I haven't got a demonstration for you for this just yet because I wanted to show you it in a more detailed way by actually putting it together in front of you. This way is actually somewhat more complex, however it does have its plus sides. The main one is that it doesn't have to be at sea level. You can make it above, so you can make it stream down mountains. You can make this go underground. You can do whatever you like. Okay, so to go to this, you just want to go to Objects, MISC or Miscellaneous or whatever, and then go to River. Once you've clicked that, you'll see we've got our little X, Y, and Z axis arrow system pop up, and that is pretty much to show you where you're going to be starting off your river. I haven't clicked anything just yet, so let's just do that now. So, whenever you're going to start off your river, choose the very start, not at the actual bit, make sure it's the end of the start. Okay, so let's just go ahead and click and hold, and we are going to move our little keyframe system. Let me just move my camera over here. There we go. And another one. And over here again. And all the way over to the end. Okay, I don't know what that was. But, oh what the heck, we now have our river. So, to end that off, we just double click, job done, and we have our river. You'll notice that I've somewhat put it into the mountain, just a tiny bit. That is just to make sure it fills up all the way to the banks in the best way possible. Anyway, let's just go and play around with these. So, as you can see here, I placed a few little keyframe path nodes, so to speak, which form my river. And you can see I've got these little wireframe lines around them to demonstrate how far or close it's going to be to the banks. So, what I'm going to be wanting to do really is I'm going to want to make sure they completely fill them up. So, to do that, I can just choose one of my path nodes, make sure I go down here and press edit, and that will allow me to select a certain point, and then I can just change the width for this. So if I just uncheck default width, and then I change this to something like 5, it will get wider, or if I change it to something like 10, it will definitely fill it up. Okay, and I'm just gonna make sure I have that done on each and every different one of these, so that it completely fills the banks. And the last one, not necessarily, okay, no, it's all good. And this one needs, oh, okay, this one needs a little bit of work. Default width, click, and I'm going to change this to 10. Okay, that should be all good for now. Okay, so you're probably wondering how we actually add in the water material to this. That's actually really simple. Over here we see we've got a bit that says no custom material. Click on that and we can choose one from our material editor. So the ones I usually go for are under materials, and then I go to no, levels, CXP, and then we've got our river forest A, B, and yeah. So I'm just going to try out this one for the time being. You should get a little preview. I'm not sure why I'm not at the moment. So I'm just going to press assign item to selected objects, and we now have our water. As you can probably see, it's a little high right now, which is somewhat a bad thing. I should have checked that. So I'm just going to unselect check, and I'm going to move this down on the Z axis and make it just go down and fit in perfectly. And here we go. You'll most likely notice that I don't have these few lined up perfectly, so I'm going to do that now. Select that, default width, I'm going to change this one to 8, and I'm going to change this one to 25. Nope, okay, maybe that's not wide enough. Let's try 50. It's still not wide enough apparently. Is that going all the way? No. 75. I'm not too sure what's going on there, but it's probably just a little terrain issue. So let's just go ahead and change this back to 15, and I'm going to raise my this up a little bit more, so it should fit in perfectly fine. I'm also going to change the width of my last one over to 25 as well, and this one, and there we go. That should look a hell of a lot better. Okay, so we've got this. Now there is a few different parameters that we can play around with for our river. So I'm going to make sure I've got the whole thing selected, and I am going to play around with a few things. First of all, we've got our default width, which is 4 at the moment. We're not going to play around with that, as we just set custom ones for each individual path node. Also, we've got border width, don't worry about that, vegetation mask, step size, tile length, you don't need to worry about any of these. Depth is somewhat important. Depth we can change, so let's say I go under 10, like basically 10 or whatever the value is that they use, under it will stop being water. Any more than that, and yeah. But seeing as it's pretty much straight under, we got very, very low water, it's all good for now, so we won't need to worry about this. Also, under here we've got speed. I just want to let everyone bear in mind that speed isn't the actual speed of the water, it is the speed that objects are going to be moving down it. So more like anything which has physics attached to it will move at that speed. So let's just say I jump in, you will see that I am being pushed down to the end of the river, even when I'm swimming. And yeah, so I'm pretty much failing because the current is a little too strong. So, give me a moment here quickly. Okay, sorry about that, I just deselected my river by accident then, which was not such a good idea. So, there's another value that we can play around with, which is the fog density. You could somewhat use this as the opacity, to the sense that the lower you change it, the less fog there's going to be, So if you turn it down to something like 0.05, it will be a little more clear and look more realistic. Or if I change it to 0.01, it will be really clear and really nice, which would work well if you've got meshes underneath. But if I turn this up to 1, it is really foggy. Actually, no, it's unrealistically foggy. And so is that. Okay, so we can change the fog color, which is really nice. And let's say I want to have it nice and red. I can do so, which is somewhat like blood. Or we can do it nice and green, maybe like slime, which is, I don't know, maybe poisonous. We can just play around with that. Also, we got the fog color multiply. We don't need to worry about that. We've got UV scale, well, U scale and V scale. Pretty much, that's just pretty much tiling. So bear that in mind. If you turn it up, it will change the size. If you change it bigger, or if you change it down, it will be smaller. So there's nothing else I really want to show you in terms of the basics, other than this one other ability, which is Align Height Map. This pretty much adjusts your terrain around your river. However, I wouldn't advise using it, as it doesn't always work to the best of its ability. So I'm just going to Control Z that and put that back down. Anyway, that's about all I want to show you in this video. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. And in the next video, I'm going to be covering roads, which has a very similar system to that of rivers, so bear that in mind. And goodbye.